Hey guys, Cam315, back at it with another video for you guys, and I'm back with another anime episode review for a Summer of Anime 2023. Excuse me. And I think I found my second romance show to probably talk about. There's many other romance shows going on, that are coming out. And this romance show is pretty much My Happy Marriage, which is streaming on Netflix. It is another anime that has the same day subbed, same day dubbed type of thing. I know there's another anime, Masamune-kun, that is also same day sub, same day dub. Now, the last two episodes have aired, and I just wanted to give my thoughts on the first two episodes because I'm really liking where the show is going. And pretty much, this show is what we're revolving around our main character, as I pull up her name, Miyo Saimori, and she's pretty much living on hard times. Well, I wouldn't say hard times, but she's living, or she's pretty much being treated wrongfully and disrespectfully by her family, and she ends up pretty much being forced to marry this individual named as Kyudo, who is pretty much known in their world as a guy that's chased off like a bunch of women that were gonna be his fiancés, or that were his fiancés, but they ended up chasing him off. And next thing you know, she obviously is forced to be married to Kudo because, well, we find out that pretty much her sister is pretty much going to be married to, from what I remember of the first episode, seemed like a childhood friend, somebody that knew her, or knew Miyo, and wanted to marry her, but no, they're like, no, we're gonna make you marry our daughter, which I think the daughter's name is Kaya Saimori, so that's pretty much kind of the thing. It was actually pretty much an interesting, type of premise. To me, it came across in kind of like almost a Cinderella type story where obviously mother of the house disrespects the main character, Miyo, and pretty much sends her away, doesn't treat her as nicely as, say, the other daughter, Kaya, and wants nothing to do with her, which I have no clue. Now, we find out in these two episodes, within the two episodes, that apparently Miyo's original mother passed away at some point, and her original mother was like a loving, caring mother. And then next thing you know, because obviously the mother died in the family, her father remarried with this woman, and for some odd reason, the stepmother is treating Miyo pretty harshly and disrespectfully, and giving more attention to the daughter, I guess, she had with the father, Kaya, which, okay, it's interesting from that standpoint. And also, I'll just say, the father is also an absolute a-hole as well. You had a daughter, you have a daughter, another daughter in Miyo, and you completely neglect her for the new daughter you had, and you completely ignore the fact that your wife is kind of treating, your first daughter, with utter disrespect. The fact that the father hasn't picked up on this is absolutely stupid, and pretty much, in the scene in the first episode when they're, telling Miyo, hey, you're gonna be forced to marry, Kudo. There's no answers. It's dude, you're supposed to be the father. You're supposed to understand your daughter. You're supposed to be there for your daughter. You see your wife is openly disrespecting her and everything, and you kind of toss her away as an outcast, as if she's nothing to you anymore. Maybe they'll dive more into that as the episodes progress, but I honestly thought that was kind of the father is honestly just as bad as the mother is. Obviously, the stepmother is obviously by far worse, and it doesn't even also help that the sister is honestly a BICTC, an itch. If you put the B word in front of the itch part, The sister is complete it, you know what. Because holy hell, like we're talking like the mother treats, and looks down on Miyo. Freaking the sister, the younger sister, mind you, Kaya, she's looking down on Miyo with just absolute disrespect and just pretty much treats her as if she was like a peasant girl. And that's also kind of what the stepmother also is treating Miyo as, like a peasant girl, like as if she's not like on the same level as they are. And it's like, it's really disturbing. But again, like I said, the father, not even being able to like acknowledge or try to acknowledge his eldest daughter. Like it's absolutely, like you get the flashback in the second episode when they're praising Kaya and you just have Miyo in the background, and the father gives like absolutely no shits about this, and he's like, hey Miyo, why don't you come congratulate your sister about something? And in the meantime, you have the stepmother is like, see, at least you're a successful daughter, unlike somebody else I know. And I'm like, really? Was that uncalled for? I don't know if I don't know if the stepmother just doesn't like Miyo because that's not her daughter, her blood-related daughter. I don't know. That's interesting. But I did appreciate the fact that it seemed like the maids in the house they were in actually did care. And also we could clearly see that, her Miyo's friend who wanted to actually be engaged to her was very upset about not being able to engage, because his whole mindset is, I'm gonna save you, I'm gonna bring you out of this lifestyle, I'm gonna treat you better than how you're being treated right now. And that was literally probably the only person, other than maybe the maids, Miyo probably trusted in her life, because let's be honest, she probably couldn't trust her entire family. The guy was willing to like try to marry Miyo, so lo and behold, like try to marry Miyo so he could bring her out of this life that she is and probably have her happy. And the bad part is, like, she's the eldest, so you would think the eldest has the most high ranking, they're gonna marry the first person, typically, of higher stature. Nope, they give it to the younger one, and he's forced to marry Kaya, which the dude was kind of like, but I don't want to marry her, I want to marry Miyo. And they're like, no, Kaya is by far the best. And it's like, it's absolutely disrespectful that they made her do that and everything. But, that's kind of the thing. Now, hold on a quick second, guys. Okay, back. But, yeah, so that was pretty much an interesting little plot point right then and there. So, she ends up being transferred, like, the next day. And, like, they literally said, like, you're not staying, like, one more week here. Like, next day, get the fuck out the house, pretty much. Which is like, well then, and like they don't even say goodbye or anything. They don't like wish her well. They just say, yep, bye, see ya. And it's like, geez Louise, no wonder the way she is what she is. And you see with Miyo, she's kind of like recluse, kept in. She's not a good she's not a people person, because she was pretty much living on her own. Like, she wasn't treated, and obviously she doesn't have any confidence in herself. And then anyway, so she gets transferred to Kyudo's place, and she thinks that Kyudo's like probably like this freaking jerk of a guy, but she sees like, oh, he's a handsome guy and everything, but he does have like this personality, like he comes across like a douchebag. But it seems like, as I'm guessing we're gonna get more and more, especially what we see in the second episode, he's gonna start to open his heart a lot more to Miyo. And we can clearly see, especially in the second episode, he's taking to Miyo's approach a lot more differently than, I'm guessing, several other girls who were originally going to be his fiancés in the past. And even, like, the main maid of the household, Yuri, pretty much kind of told him, like, hey, you should actually be more open. Like, for example, in the second episode, Miyo made breakfast for him, but he didn't trust her breakfast because, he thought she was feeding him poison. But Yuri had to sit down and talk with Kyudo and is like, hey, listen, I saw her make that food. She put a lot of time and effort into making this food for you. And she's doing what she can to gain your approval. The least you could do is at least try out the food and see if it's good. It looks like she's doing really hard. And I actually like Yuri as a character, Because she seems like a nice motherly, like, she seems like a good character and a good motherly, like, figure for Miyo, because, you know, it seems like she's willing to go out of her way to help her and do things. Like, she even says, like, hey, you should go do this. You're the woman in the house. Go do this. I'll handle this. But obviously Miyo's been raised to do all these tasks like as if she was a maid of her own from her own household. That's pretty much that scarred her for life and everything. So it was interesting to say the least. And then you get at the end of the episode, where pretty much Kyudo is pretty much he keeps thinking about like not trying her food and the fact that it's bothering him that he didn't do that. So he ends up pretty much saying, hey, listen, if you can make me breakfast, I'll try it. You know, like he says, hopefully it's good enough by my taste, but I did appreciate that. And then, you know, even though it had a different taste than what he typically would think it would taste like, he did say he enjoyed the food that he tried from Miyo. So we can clearly see that he's willing to be open and everything. And clearly we can see that from his approach, Miyo is an interesting girl. And he has this conversation with Yuri at the end of the episode of the fact that he wants to find out what the hell happened in the Saimori household, which made Miyo the way she is. Because, you know, when he says, like, oh, your food is good, he sees Miyo breaking out into tears. And the reason why she's breaking out into tears is because it's like the first time in probably like years for Miyo somebody has ever complimented her or gave her like or said something good to her. Because let's be honest, you know, we don't know. I don't know how old she is. They don't specify how old Miyo is in the episode unless I missed that. But you know, mind you, this, like, I guess you could say this mental abuse or this neglect abuse pretty much has been happening since she was a kid, a little girl pretty much. So of course, when you're ingrained to think a certain way, like, oh, they don't care about me, whatever I do isn't good enough, you know, when obviously, you know, Kyudo at first didn't want nothing to do with his food or her food, she thought, okay, maybe I'm not good enough for Kyudo, I guess. Maybe he's not impressed. Maybe I'm just a worthless, you know, person, you know? But obviously the fact that Kyudo said he liked the food, it made her start breaking out into tears because it's the first time somebody ever gave her a really great compliment in probably years. And it was the first time she heard somebody actually say she liked something, or they liked something about what she did, or something about her. So seemingly enough, it seems like as the episodes progress, Kudo's gonna open himself a lot more to Miyo, because when he eventually finds out, probably I would have to guess by maybe in episode 3 next week, what the Saimoris were kind of doing in neglecting her, he's probably going to be a lot more opening and maybe a lot more, you know, caring. Now, he'll probably still have this, because he comes across like a very strong, stoic guy. And also, I think, helps the fact that it seems like, you know, it seems like he's like a captain in like this, you know, army force or whatever. So, you know, that's also could play a role. But he's that stoic character that, you know, doesn't seem to show emotion, you know, and he plays it off as if he doesn't care, but deep down he does care. But we see, like, okay, he genuinely does care about Miyu because he wants to find out, okay, what the hell happened, why this girl is the way she is, why she's doing things as if she's a maid. Plus, on top of it, why is she not a good communicator? Why is she like afraid and things like that, and all these other stuff, you know, that we see through the first 2 episodes of Miyo not confident in herself. You know, simple things like that. You know, he wants to find that out, and he asks Yuri, hey, can you help me on this? And Yuri's like, yo, yes, like, of course. You know, so I think maybe next week we'll find out he'll find out what's been going on, and he'll start to open up to her a little bit more the more he gets to know her. And maybe he'll actually maybe when he does, maybe he'll feel for her and he'll actually be more open and more caring. He'll probably still have the same personality, but maybe he'll be like, hey, you can do this. Like he said, like, hey, go take a bath. Like, enjoy yourself here. Like he, you know, and things like that. And obviously she was fine with that. Also, too, we see how we get a phone call. Maybe it's from the guy that is forced to marry Kaya. he was talking on the phone with Miyo's dad, and it's like, this wasn't what we agreed upon. This is what we didn't want to arrange. And it's building up to seem like, okay, it seems like Miyo is a lot more special than we already think she is. Or, you know, what we're implied to know, because clearly this guy who was calling the father was really pissed off that, like, this isn't the daughter we wanted to marry. We wanted the other one. So you have to wonder, like, maybe the father made a mistake. And maybe there's something about Miyo that's so special that we don't know at this point in time. But, you know, it's kind of the thing. But a solid first 2 episodes. I'm really liking where the show is going. And it actually makes you not only hate her original family, but it also makes you want to see how is Kyudo going to open a lot more up to her, and how is Miyo as a character, going to open up to Kyudo a lot more. And then eventually get to the point where she's confident enough to have full-on conversations and things like that. And maybe instead of calling him, like, I forget, like Master or Lord Kyudo or something like that, you know, she ends up maybe start to call him like dear, or just even starting to call him by his name, Kyudo. I definitely feel like we're gonna get a moment in this series where he's gonna tell her, like, you don't have to identify me by honorifics, just call me by my name. You know, you're my fiance, so you might as well call me by my name. So yeah, but that's kind of the thing. But anyways, that's pretty much it. Yeah, so if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on My Happy Marriage, as well as hit the subscribe button if you want to get more My Happy Marriage content or any other anime content I upload to the channel and things like that. So then, guys, stay safe out there. Have a great rest of your day or next video. Peace.